crisscross applesauce.
Hey yo, and welcome to my channel. I am Crisscross Applesauce, and today, since Rogue is a little bit broken, I started a new character, and I got to level 50 way quicker, and got to World Tier 4 way quicker than I thought I would my first time ever experimenting with Barb. I intentionally did not look anything up about the Barb, and I stayed away from build guides and you know, pretty much anything that I could have learned about the Barb to help me kind of figure it out. I just kind of went with what I know about numbers and what goes well with what, and came up with this build that I was able to get to World Tier 3 at level 30, and I was able to get to World Tier 4 at level 50 and 51. I think I leveled up once during the second capstone dungeon. But anyways, I just thought, wow, that's pretty nice, and it only took me about 4 or 5 hours to get from 1 to 50. So I thought, you know what, maybe there's some casual players out there that don't want to spend a week of their time leveling up. So I thought I'd go over just what I've got going on here with this build. It's basically just a straight physical damage, like critical strike and overpower build that has some decent survivability. Yeah, this build's about to get a heck of a lot better now it's in World Tier 4. Good lord. First, I guess the best thing to do is just go over the skill tree. In order to proc one of our overpowers, which is from the... I know I have it here somewhere. After swapping weapons 8 times, our next non-basic skill will overpower. So in order to do that, I mixed and matched a whole bunch of different things, but I found out the most comfortable thing to do is just to have 2 basic skills that use different weapons and use them as such that when you want to overpower something, when you're just about to be, you know, right when you spot a group of elites or when you're just starting a boss fight, all you have to do is quickly rotate back and forth between those and then use either your upheaval, or if you have the Ring of Red Fury and you've procced that at the same time, which can be a little bit difficult but will increase your damage really, really, really well. You can instead use your Death Blow, which is our biggest damage output right now. But most of the time, all I do is run around and use Death Blow over and over again because it automatically resets when you kill an enemy, and it one-shots just about everything besides elites and champions. So I just run around basically and use that until I have this aspect right here where I deal fire damage while I'm berserking. Sometimes this will kill an enemy before, like, I'll start the Death Blow swing, and our berserking will kill the enemy before it ends, so it will count the swing as not killing an enemy. So then I'll have to go back to using my basic skill 6 times and then using upheaval, which does, you know, relatively well with the damage output as well. So yeah, using Bash in Frenzy. I really use Bash more than anything. That's why I have it on my left click. I have Frenzy on my number 3 just so when I want to go back and forth between the two, it's really not that hard. It's just bing, bang, boom. And those of you that are on controller, you can figure out your own, like, whatever's most comfortable for you. Obviously, we're going to be pumping as much as we can into Upheaval because it's one of our main 2 DPSs, and we're going to be grabbing Furious Upheaval for a significant increase to our damage if we use 6 other skills before we use this, which is going to be very, very easy to do, especially since when there are elites or a boss around, we're going to be going back and forth between these skills at least 8 times. Well, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 4 times. Go ahead and put 3 points into Endless Fury. This is just good to have since we are going to be blowing through our Fury very quickly because we are using our Unbridled Rage as our keystone passive, which increases the cost of our Fury at the cost of increasing the damage of our core skills. I think it's well worth it, honestly. You can generate enough Fury to make up for that and basically be a fill and kill build with relative ease, especially if you increase your attack speed more than what I have right now, which is pretty garbage. I think I only have attack speed on my gloves. Nope, don't have that anymore. Went through those gloves already. But yeah, my attack speed bonus is only 20% right now, and I mean, it takes probably 3 or 4 hits very, very quickly to fill up my Fury. It's really not bad at all. Moving along, we're really not doing anything much with our defensive skills. I have not had any difficulty with my defenses. I don't think I've died yet with this character, which is interesting for me because usually when I do these like experimental like R&D setups with a character I've never done before with these types of games, I die a lot. And that's part of the process of learning, through trial and error what works and what doesn't. But without any defenses other than imposing presence and martial vigor, I've done relatively well. The 18% multiplicative maximum life is probably the biggest defensive boost to us, because getting maximum life is huge for a Barb, obviously. We are going to be utilizing Warcry to further increase our damage and guarantee us some berserking while we are putting our damage output at the maximum we want for elites and bosses. I'm using Charge as our mobility skill. It works a lot like Dash for the Rogue, where the more enemies you hit with it, the more cooldown is decreased. And it does a ridiculous amount of damage and stuns enemies for 3 seconds on its own. So very, very good mobility skill. I really wasn't impressed with the other ones, but that could change in the future. Who knows? And I got 3 points into Booming Voice just so that this lasts longer, so that we can use the Warcry and then get off all 4 of our swapping attacks and then either use our Upheaval or our Death Blow within the time that this actually is boosting our damage. So we have 3.7 seconds for the damage boost and 4 seconds for the berserking. So we've got about 4 seconds to pull off everything else, which shouldn't be hard to do. Obviously putting as much as we can into Death Blow and then grabbing Warrior's Death Blow. This is how I maintain berserking outside of trying to kill elites and bosses. If you are struggling with Fury retention, this is a great way to maintain a rapid gain of your Fury back, especially if you've got your damage set up correctly and you're able to one-shot enemies over and over and over again. This is basically free Fury when you kill the little guys. 3 points into Pit Fighter, obviously, that's just going to be great for us. I have 1 point in Thick Skin. We get Fortify in other ways just fine from our aspects, so I wasn't going to pump everything into that, but I did take everything in Defensive Stance. Obviously, that's a huge, huge bonus to our damage reduction, because now, instead of it only being 16% total damage reduction when this is procced, it is now a total of 21% damage reduction while you are fully fortified, because they increased the fortified amount from 10 to 15% this season. Counteroffensive is another great way to maintain a good level of damage output, because we are going to be constantly fortified almost to the max, so this is just free damage. No ultimate. I have yet to find a need for an ultimate. I do plenty of damage to kill everything very, very quickly. 3 points into Heavy-Handed, obviously, because we're going to be using, for both our Death Blow and our Upheaval, we're going to be using two-handed weapons. Another additive to our critical strike damage is great to have. And obviously, since we are going to be proccing 2 different overpowers a majority of the time with our elite and boss fights, having 3 points into Brute Force is going to be a delightful increase to our damage, since we are using a two-handed weapon. And then, like I said earlier, Unbridled Rage is a cheeky, easy, massive increase to our Upheaval damage output. So there is the skill setup. As far as Paragon goes, I don't know, once you guys reach level 50, if you have all 15 of your other unlocked Paragon points. I haven't found very many glyphs. I just threw Marshall in here just so I could get a little bit more damage in Dex to try and proc the raw power and the iron strength. I need to either waste the time to level this up to get it range a little bit larger so I can grab one more Dex, or just run a bunch of nightmare dungeons and try and find better glyphs. Because again, all the knowledge I have of the glyphs is just looking at these, which I really haven't even done that much yet. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and give you a rundown of the aspects to be looking for. You can mix and match these. There are really only 2 that are absolutely necessary. One of them, I would say, is the rapid aspect and putting it on one of your two-handers. I have Whirlwind on this one, which it just came with. I need to put something else on there because I'm not using Whirlwind. So that's really important. Obviously, our Overpower after 8 weapon swap. The Earth Striker aspect is very important. The aspect of the elements is another great one to have. And like I was talking about earlier, this one is very nice to have because it can kill tiny little enemies, little pleblings around you very, very quickly and easily. It's just a nice convenience. You don't have to have it. I would highly recommend either buying or farming for the Red Ring of Fury. I think it does come guaranteed in the first unique cache in the Wolf stuff, whatever the hell it's called. I have the accelerating on my amulet. I probably don't need it on there. I need to put something else on there because we're not really attacking enough with a core skill to really maintain this at 33% or at 21%. So that's kind of pointless. The reason I did like this amulet is obviously +2 to weapon mastery skills, which is our main damage output, death blow. So that's nice to have. This is also a very, very nice aspect to have, the ancestral echoes, because it almost every single time I use upheaval, it summons an ancient, and he does the exact same thing coming in the opposite direction. It not only does it look really fun and cool, but it's actually like devastating to large groups of enemies if that procs. So highly recommend that. Steadfast Berserker is very important to have. This is one of our main ways to maintain our fortify, because we are going to be berserking almost all the time, since we are going to be clearing things very quickly. Sovereign Mail of Might is perfect for us. It gives us a flat 20% damage reduction, and we're going to be using basic skills all the time. So this is going to be procced all the time, and once our Fortify is full, that means that we are going to have a 41% damage reduction total all the time, just basically as a flat line, as a baseline. I've got Disobedience on my pants right now. I don't know if it's really doing any good for us, because we are really not attacking quick enough to get it up to max and maintain it. So I'm thinking I'm going to put something different on there. Since we are using boots that have attacks reduce evades cooldown by 1.2 seconds, I might go ahead and use the aspect that gives you a large sum of armor, but at the cost of doubling your evade cooldown. I think we'll be okay with that, and it's going to be a lot more effective for us. On the boots, while you are unstoppable and for 4 seconds after, you gain increased movement speed. This is very nice, because it gives you a 25% increased movement speed the second you use your war cry. So you can use your war cry and then run around and do a bunch of crazy stuff, and it's loads of fun. At least I think it is. Not a must-have, but very nice to have. Again, the only ones that I think are really, really absolutely necessary for this is the rapid aspect, the ancestral echoes aspect, and the Earth Strikers aspect. And probably the aspect of might. Those are the only ones you really have to look out for. Grabbing the Red Ring of Fury obviously is going to be a huge damage boost for you. And then you can kind of mix and match the other slots however you feel. I don't think any of the other ones are 100% necessary. I haven't needed to put sockets in anything. I just am finding, sockets in here and there on items. Once I start equipping more 925s, I will probably be wasting that precious, precious resource. I've only got 9 right now. Yeesh. Okay. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a comment. Let me know. Like I said, I'm very new to the Barb, so let me know any little nuggets of cool information about the Barb that I don't know, because I'm not going to look anything up because I'm stubborn and have to. Okay, I'm not really stubborn. What it is I learn better, and I actually remember things when I learn them myself, as opposed to reading them on a web page. So yeah, that's about it. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend this build, not just because I did it, but it's surprisingly fun. Anyways, yeah, leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to be making videos in this game a lot, as well as others. I might get back into some No Man's Sky building if you give a shit about that. Oh, there's Scuba Steve. Okay, I will see you guys in the next one.